Why, hello there, YouTube. We are back today with another video for you all, and at the time of recording, today is the 5th anniversary of the release of Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk was a game that I truly loved and enjoyed. It's definitely up there with like one of my most favorite games of all time. I loved the DLC, and I also loved Edge Runners, which was a very popular Netflix show that came out around the time the game really picked up steam too, right? So definitely an IP that I love and I enjoy deeply. And, we've heard murmurs of it, but this week we finally got like an official press release, if you will, for the official Cyberpunk trading game. Now, another beloved IP has released a TCG, and we have another TCG hitting the space, hitting the community, and another member, if you will. Now, we've talked on the channel before about this idea of like over congestion and like an overabundance of TCGs in the community or in the TCG space right now. And, we're talking about yet another one hitting the market very, very soon. Cyberpunk is, I believe, coming to Kickstarter in 2026. So, I mean, there's definitely a timeline for it and it's coming up. And we can talk about that another day, but today's video, I really wanted to just highlight, what the release talked about. We'll look at some cards that we're able to see in the trailer itself and sort of my initial thoughts or my initial reactions to the game as we kind of get this initial teaser for it, right? So right now, you guys can kind of see the homepage of the official Cyberpunk TCG website. They have a place where you can sign up with an email. It'll take you to their Kickstarter site, and I think if you sign up, you're going to get a free exclusive like promo card. It's the Lucy, which this card looks gorgeous. I'm a huge Lucy fan. But, the card itself, I think, is beautiful. And I'm very curious to see how a lot of the other arts are going to be like. We'll go over some of the reveals that we got in the trailer itself. But check their link out. I believe they also have a Discord linked also on this site as well, where basically you're just kept up to speed with a bunch of their big announcements. A lot of their developers from Project Weird Co. Or not Project Weird Co. Weird Co. Weird Co. is the company that's sort of heading the TCG side of things. And they're working with CD Projekt Red for like, developing the game itself too. So really, really interesting times. And do check this out. What we're going to do now, though, is we're going to go over a few of the cards that were released in the hype trailer that we won't watch, but we're going to there are some screenshots that I found that we're going to go over and kind of talk about the cards here. Okay, and then the first card we have here is Mantis Blades. It's a gear card, and you equip it basically to a unit or a face-up legend. You see 2 ones up here on top, and then you see a +2. I'm assuming the +2 is gonna be like attack power, right, or damage capability. Not too sure what these 2 here are. The teaser and then the press release didn't really talk too much about like the mechanics of the game itself. A lot of it was just kind of teasing the actual game and some of the cards that we're gonna see with it. So we've yet to really get much detail about how the game wants to play. But some of these cards that we see here kind of give us a clue or sort of like an indicator of what to expect, right? We've got a Judy Alvarez card, which is just looks like a vanilla legend here. Again, gorgeous art. We've got an Atom Smasher, which this looks like a legend if I were to guess, comparing it to like Judy's card here. Here again, like a 3/4 stat line, so maybe this is like a 3 cost or a level 3 to play, right? And then it's like battle damage, if you want to call it that. We've got a Panam Palmer, so again, a very lot of characters that we saw in the video game itself. And then we see Psycho Squad, which is another unit card that we see here. Unit gets +1 power for each of your face-up legends. And then we've got another gear card called Kiroshi Optics. Attack, look at a friendly face-down legend without revealing it. And yeah, I mean, like, we just get a bunch of really neat reveals here. I'm not going to go through each of them in detail. They also say the card text is not final here. But again, I think the basic idea is similar to what Riftbound did when they first released like their initial like teasers like way back before release, right? It's just kind of giving us an idea of what to expect, what to be excited for. And I think honestly the card art looks amazing. I'm super psyched for just like from a collector's perspective. I'm really digging like the aesthetic that it's going for. And it's really nice that they're not just like screen grabs from like the video game or like the anime, right? Like they definitely have like commissioned artists who are making these works and making these arts, and I'm loving it. I really do dig it. I think from what I was reading before, ooh, Jackie Wells, nice. From what I was reading in previous like articles too, was that the first set is gonna focus on the video game Cyberpunk 2077 and kind of expanding upon the world that was built with it and a lot of the characters and kind of fleshing out the lore there, you know. And then I think after that they're gonna kind of expand on, you know, other like stories and plot lines and whatnot. And I think that's really cool. I was talking to a couple buddies the other day about this as we kind of saw that this got revealed, right? And I think we're going to be going towards, yeah, the front end of our reveals here. But, you know, I was talking to a couple buddies where, you know, Cyberpunk itself has a lot of, I think, really neat mechanics that do translate pretty nicely to, like, the card game setting. With a lot of, like, weapon upgrades, gear, and sort of, like, modding yourself, right? Like, I think there's a lot of different ways to, like, buff up your characters, almost like with Digimon, right? With like your inheritables that you can slot in, and like Link is now a mechanic and stuff like that. I think it's really cool to see what Cyberpunk can do and expand on that. On top of that, we've seen cards that go for like street cred and completing a gig and like other things of that sort. So I think it's really cool to see like how the game's lore can be fleshed out into a physical card game. And you know, from what I'm hearing, CD Projekt Red and Weirdco, the two sort of organizations spearheading this project, they're really passionate about the story itself, but also really passionate about TCGs. So it's going to be nice to see that sort of aspect come into play, right? You know, CD Projekt Red being the video game developer, the studio that led the video game production, to hear that a lot of their like top dogs or people involved with it are also huge TCG like aficionados is really neat, because I think that gives them a perspective, right, of from like games like that have done well, and you know what worked for those games, what maybe didn't work for those games, and what are like the positives and negatives of games to help give this maybe a little bit more legs to run with upon its release. So I'm really excited to see where they take the game and how they want to develop it. Like I said, I really do love the Cyberpunk IP, so I'm already suckered into it. I probably will look to at least collect the first set. You know, I'm gonna wait to see how the game actually plays out from a mechanics perspective before I make any like commitments to playing the game. I definitely will try to pick it up casually, that's for sure. You know, but in terms of actually making it a dedicated game and maybe replacing it with one of the ones that I play now is, I think, to be determined, depending on what we get from like mechanics and game breakdown and stuff like that too. But I'm very excited for it. I think it has a lot of potential, but again, a lot's sort of up in the air right now. But they definitely hyped it up with this reveal. I think it's definitely got people buzzed and people excited for it. So I'm very curious to see what else comes in the future for it and what the future has in store for this game. Like I said, I'll link their Discord and their Kickstarter site down in the video description below. I'm by no means affiliated with this, nor am I sponsored. I'm not trying to push for it. But if you guys are interested, I do want you guys to kind of have access to it and get as much information. So let me know if you guys are interested in the Cyberpunk TCG. I will definitely try to keep you guys posted as more and more news comes out, because this is, like I said, something that I'm very interested in. So be on the lookout for more news. Like I said, I will do my best to keep you all posted and kind of maybe keep you all up to date as best I can. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and hopefully I catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.